A barn. A barn in Gainford. That's where I am this evening. My bed is over there, and there's OG Bear next to my bed. And I can only say the kindness of strangers. I'm speechless. I arrived in Gainford late afternoon, early evening, and it wasn't quite as far as I thought I was going to go today, but I thought I'd push on perhaps just another couple of miles to Piercebridge and cross the river. I got to Gainford, and first person that I met was a very tall gentleman, must have been nearly, 6'7" with a beard, and he said, "It looks like you've walked halfway across the world," because he saw the size of my rucksack. So we had a little chat, and he said to me, "Well, if you do decide to stay in Gainford," he said, "I run a cafe on the green. In the morning, turn up, ask for breakfast. If I'm not there, say, it's from me, and it's all yours, free brekkie." Now, I'm kind of going on instinct, but when I get that kind of kindness when I walk into a town, I'm inclined to explore a bit and see if I can stay. So I thought, I'll stop here. So I rolled into the Cross Keys and bought a pint of black sheep, and got my maps out just to look and see, if there was anything, any value in continuing on. And then I realised I didn't have any money, and it turned out that there's no cash points in Gainford, and there is actually in the shop, but they haven't loaded it with cash because they've just had it installed. It's one of those that charges you $1.99 to get your own money out, which I'm kind of loath to do anyway, but I'd do it. And none of the places do cash back. The shop will let you pay with your card if you pay, more than £8 for something. So I kind of was mulling this over, and had let the lady behind the bar at the Cross Keys know this, and she came across with another pint and said, "This is from me." And I said, "No, you're fine. You don't have to do this." And she said, "No, that's fine." And then another lady came across and saw OG Bear, and gave me £1 for pump aid, which was very kind. But then I thought, well, I can't eat here. I can't. I checked out. There's no camping by the river, so I needed to plod out of town to find somewhere to put my tent. But I was kind of reluctant to leave Gainford because of the kindness and the hospitality. So I walked up the road, and there was another pub on the right-hand side, the Lord Nelson. So I just popped in there to see if they could do cash back, and or if I could buy some food and pay for that with my card. Well, of course, the answer was no on all of those fronts. But there was a couple that were listening to me having the conversation with the young barmaid there, and I just said, that it would be in Gainford's interests maybe to either sort out a cash point or allow their hostelries to kind of, for customers to pay with your card or get cash back. And the lady said, "Well, sit down." She said, "What's your walk for?" So I explained. She said, "I'll get you a meal." So I said, No, it's fine. She said, No, sit down. You're having a meal. So I had, then the bar manager came across, and he found out what was going on, and he said he'd go halves on it. And suddenly I end up eating game pie, chips and mushy peas, and 2 pints of Wainwright's. So, we have a brilliant chat. It turns out that the young girl behind the bar was actually the lady's daughter, so I think she was just pleased that I hadn't been rude, which I wasn't intending to be at all. I just wanted to get some money back. And to cut a long story short, after a chat with someone else, and then finally deciding that I'd walk, apparently there was a field near there where I could put my tent, 2 young guys came in. And Henry, bless him, found out what I was doing, got me another pint. So, and offered to wash my clothes, and then said, "We own some fields." So he drove me up to where the fields are, which is here, and in the end, I didn't go for the field. I'm in the stable, which is bizarre, because when I put my rucksack on my back earlier on, there was a part of me that thought, I'm not meant to be leaving Gainford this evening. There's some kindness here. I'm not meant to be leaving. So I took a little walk down to the church, and the church doors were barred up. I walked around the outside, and I've been reading a book about St. Cuthbert earlier on, and he was always a chap who said to his followers that, never worry, that you'll always be looked after, it's okay. And I was reading this today, and the thought crossed my mind when I looked at the doors of the church being barred up. Well, a bizarre, wacky thought. Well, yeah, the gates of the church are locked, but the gates of heaven are always open. What a bizarre thought. And this was before I walked down to the Lord Nelson. And I end up getting fed, getting a couple more beers, and a chat with a guy whose son works for the World Bank, and he took my card and was very interested in the whole water issue stuff. And apparently he's never in there at that time. He's always in only late afternoon for an hour or so. And then my washing's being done. Not that I've got a great deal. The shirt that I've worn since I started the walk that hasn't been washed yet. But I've given Henry strict instructions not to use the tumble dryer, just to put it on the radiator because I don't want it to shrink. And now I'm bedded down in pretty much a stable. I've been given a horse duvet. You can see the straw here. Bales of straw. There's hot water over there with some kettles and some tea, so I can make tea. And Henry, bless him, he said he's stopping at his aunt's at the moment, so he couldn't give me a bed, but there's a box of food there, which I can't really take anything with me because it's all tin cans, but he said I could help myself if I wanted to, which is very kind. And then, there might be a few mice and a few rats and things, but that doesn't really matter too much because they're all friendly, I'm sure. And here's my bed. I've just put a couple of pallets here under on some hardboard, and then put the horse duvet, which Henry said might be a bit itchy, but it's all right. And then another duvet on that. My inflatable mat, my sleeping bag, OG Bear's there. My rucksack's here. And so I'm in a barn. I'm in a barn in Gainford. The horses are next door, I can hear them. So, housed pretty much in a stable. It's just crazy. It's crazy. I'm fed, I'm watered, I'm in Gainford. And to top it all, apparently, the chap that has offered breakfast in the morning at his cafe used to be the world's strongest man. The tall guy, the 6'7" chap, world's strongest man. I'm having breakfast at the world's strongest man's cafe. So there's another story there. It just gets crazier and crazier. Walking for water. Unbelievable. I'm speechless. And I'm ready for my bed now. But I'm very happy. And it's amazing. What can you say? St. Cuthbert? St. Cuthbert, you were right. You were right. The gates of heaven are always open. And my eyes are going to close.